What up, Anton? How are you?
Man, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Boy, tired. I'm tired, but we're here. We're free, semi-free. How are you feeling about being semi-free after being locked down in captivity?
Do you know what? It feels lovely. Don't get me wrong, being able to go places here and there, but it's a bit weird, man. Being in lockdown has become the norm, innit?
Oh,
you know. So when you now finally ready to come out, I'm not looking forward to the craze though. Like a little bit of craze, everyone going mad and that. I'd rather keep clear of that, and then once things start to settle down, then I'll start going about my business properly.
Yeah, that's what I was on, but I had to go to my mum's house today. I live in a nice area. I travelled down to my mum's. I saw Boris bikes in the ends. There is no place to put these bikes. I just saw 4 of them just laying down and said, we're open again. All right, so it's Ramadan. Ramadan, I'm going to sacrifice something. I'm going to try and tell the truth, starting with today.
Okay.
Because this is an important interview for me. Because I'm speaking to someone that I watched when I was younger, and I remember thinking, oh my Lord, 2 brothers coming through the same youth academy. This is mad. And then monitoring both careers very, very closely, because there wasn't bare black man to be loving about at the time that were doing great things. You and your brother, an amazing partnership to me as 2 boys from the ends, growing up and having great successful careers within Premier League football. It's just such a rarity. I was in love with it completely.
Thank you.
Let's start from the beginning. West Ham, as a kid. What's the parts that we don't see? Because we got rising ballers and all these other different ways of seeing what, the youth players are doing now. So you can find out the next rising star like 15, 16 years old. We didn't have that access back then.
It was word of mouth.
Yo.
Back then, it was word of mouth. The boys at West Ham that were spoken about. So I went to a centre of excellence, which was in South East London, which was in Beckenham.
So what's a centre of excellence? Because that sounds kind of wild.
A centre of excellence ain't it's underneath the academy. So when you don't, but you couldn't play for I couldn't play for West Ham properly until under 12, under 13s. Before that, you train with West Ham and you play for your Sunderland League team. Whereas now, if you're signed to an academy, you're signed there from when you're 7 years old, and you can't play for it. You can't play with your mates no more. You got to play for West Ham.
What are the pros of that, would you say, and what are the cons?
I think the pros are that when you're in the system early, you learn a lot more. But you can, if you're not in there, you can get left behind. But the cons to it is you don't play with your friends all the time, man. And I'm 36 years old now, and some of my best memories playing football is with my friends on the ends, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So if you lose that, maybe you might even fall out of love with football a little bit earlier. Exactly. I've always loved playing academy, and then we had some boy called Jay Simpson. He used to play for Arsenal at the time, but he'd come kick ball with us as well. Yeah. And the good thing about that I always felt was that I just felt when you play estate football, you learn little tricks that you might not learn in the academy, like all the South American players. And if you take that out of their game, then it's just too academy structured. It's too structured in my eyes. Mm-hmm. We'll see now anyway, because a lot of the young players are doing well. But then, okay, so that happened. Centre of excellence.
So yeah, went to Centre of Excellence, Beckenham. There was me, Kieran Richardson, and Ben Watson were the 3 main boys that people were speaking about, so to speak. And me and Kieran got fast-tracked. Ben Watson did, but me and Kieran got fast-tracked to Chadwell Heath, which is where the academy was.
You just rubbed up Ben.
That's how it happened. How, I don't know, because he's had a fantastic career.
Come on, FA Cup and that was mad.
He's had a fantastic career, and rightly so. He's always been a good player. Ben was actually in my Sunday League team at Athenley. We played together at Athenley. I played with and against Kieran for district. Played against him. He was at Sammy Montague. I was at Athenley. We always used to have battles.
Yeah.
And we were spoken about around our age group, around South East London. They're the 2. Glenn Johnson as well. He played for someone up in Dartford. I can't remember the name of them. He played for them, but he played as a striker back in the day.
Glenn Johnson was a striker?
Yeah.
But you kind of see it though, because he's kind of
with his finishes,
agile.
The goals that he scored over his career, you can see it. But yeah, everyone talking about a few players. And then we got fast-tracked, me and Kim got fast-tracked to West Ham into the academy. And we started playing, when we were 10, we started playing under 12s, under 13s, we started playing, so we were playing games for West Ham. We got like playing up a few years, and then me and Kim got asked to go to, what was it? The Milk Cup in Northern Ireland.
How old are you now?
Must have been 12. It's an under 14 competition.
Now you're under 14s, okay.
I'm 12, but it's an under 14 competition.
And they fast tracked you and Kieran to go.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
sweet.
And I tell you what, that was the best tournament I've been to in terms of getting a feel for what it'd be like to be a professional, because you are looked upon as a professional, as an icon there. You know, everyone wants your autograph, everyone wants a picture.
Serious?
Oh, it's mad. It's
under 14? They're wanting autographs?
It's nuts. There's a video footage. It was on before my documentary, me and Kieran speaking. That's Northern Ireland. So you do interviews and everything.
They're treating you like a real pro.
It's mad. It's a madness.
Come on, I rate that though.
It's wicked. Like, so many players have been to that tournament. It's unbelievable.
What other players were in the tournament that you can remember that were, you know?
I think Dean Ashton was there. Who else was there? Been a lot. I saw a team the other day. It was on my phone. They put together a Milk Cup Northern Ireland best 11. I was in it. I was happy.
Serious?
Yeah, I was happy.
Come on, my brother.
Like Harry Maguire, Joe Cole, like Michael Carrick. Yeah, some ballers, man.
Those are real ballers.
Yeah.
So now you're there with Kieran. You're doing all the talking. It's under 14s you're playing at.
We're doing that. Everything's good. Then that summer, the following, like after the season finished, there was a tournament in Texas, Augustus, Texas, yeah, with West Ham, which they wanted me to go. And mind you, Rio is now a youth team player.
Okay.
He's a YTS at West Ham.
YTS.
So,
Jesus.
So Rio's there, and Tony Carr, the head of academy and the manager for the academy was there, for the youth team was there, and he kept giving these things to Rio for my parents to sign so I could go to this competition. He kept forgetting. So I missed out on going. I was vexed. I was so vexed.
Wait, who kept forgetting?
Rio.
Yeah,
Dappy. He just kept forgetting, man.
So you try to bump your thing? You try to hold back your thing?
No, it wasn't.
Try to hold back.
It's not that. He just forgot to do it. He just
he's busy at the time. At the same time with his own career.
He's trying to become. He's not in the first team yet. He's trying to become a professional. You know, I respect it, but I didn't get to go. Following season, we go to Northern Ireland again, but now I'm playing my age group now, under 14s. I'm a year younger, so I'm more of the size of all the others, so we're playing, and that was wicked.
What position are you playing? You're still playing centre back at the time?
Centre back, sometimes centre back, sometimes centre midfield. I played both. Remember Keane Richardson, man, going to use my roommate, like my best mate, man, and he went to me, "I'm not going to be here when you wake up in the morning, man." I went, "What?" He went, "No, I'm not going to be here when you wake up in the morning." I said, "What do you mean?" I'm ducking, I've got things to do. I went, "What do you mean? What are you doing?" He went, "I'll go and play a tournament for Man United." I went, "That would be silly, but what are you talking about?" Man woke up in the morning, man was gone.
So how does that feel now? Because you said it right now, some of the best memories you had was playing football with your brethren, and then you've just got a connection with Keane Richardson, and you lot are kind of, smashing it together, and then all of a sudden United do come in with a bid. I even remember that, because my dad's mate Jim was fuming, because he always spoke about you two very highly. So he's gone now. How does that make you feel?
I was happy for him, man. Like, man's gone Man United.
Crazy.
Man's from South East London. My man's gone Man United. It's unheard of. Man's gone. Lost contact quite a bit. But then it's almost like I became the main man. He was the main man. I wasn't the main man. He was the main man at West Ham. Then all of a sudden I become kind of the main man. Then I started growing, and I felt like Bambi on ice. Legs, my mind was doing one thing, my legs were doing another, type thing. And I actually didn't think I was going to get a YTS. When I got my schoolboy forms at 14. that's a 2-year contract, takes you to 16. And then at 16 years old, man, I didn't think I was going to get, we had like 5 centre-backs in my age group, and I didn't think I was going to get a YTS.
Who were some of the, any of the centre-backs, did they also push on?
Elliot Ward.
He
ended up playing with me in the first team at West Ham and having a good career. The others didn't, but they all ahead of me at the time. And it was between me and this other boy, Tony Sinclair, who's played in the lower leagues, had a good career in the lower leagues and stuff, who was going to get the YTS, but I didn't think I was going to get it. I honestly didn't think I was going to get it, to the point where I remember saying to my dad, like, Dad, I don't want to play football no more, man. And he was like, what? What do you mean? I was like, I don't want to play, man. I'd rather like do singing, because I was into singing.
You singing
and stuff.
Now?
Yeah, I don't.
Craig David thing?
Oh, I had a little bit of Craig.
Why is it all the light skinned boys just want to wear jeans jackets and just sing?
I weren't like that, but no, I could put something together. I could hold a note. Jermaine Defoe says it actually in one of his interviews. They ask him who can sing, and he goes, Anton can sing. But cheeky man, he tries to go, covers though. He can't sing his own thing, only covers. Cheeky. But yeah, like I was into singing at the time. Yeah. And I said, I want to concentrate on singing, Dad. I don't want to play football no more. And my dad, the best bit of advice I got, and the reason why I'm sitting here talking to you today, man, really, is my dad said to me, he said, Anton, you're good at both, yeah? But let me tell you something. You can do singing after football, but you can't do football after singing.
I'll give you a record deal if you want. Come on.
So he's basically just saying to me, listen, try football. If it don't work out, you can always do singing. Yeah. But if you try singing, you can't go back to football. And I listened to what he said, and I got the YTS. But the reason why I got the YTS, which is a perk of having Rio as my brother, he went through the same growth spurt as me. So they saw him come out the other side.
So they knew what would potentially
happen.
happen.
So they were looking at, potentially, if Anton comes out the other side, we've got a player on our hands here. If he comes out the same way Rio did. And that was effectively the reason why I got my YTS.
Shout out Rio, fam.
So then, I'm the only one who ain't got a pro. So there's me and another centre-back that ain't got a pro. The rest of them already got guaranteed pros with their YTS. And
Was that a common thing that happened at that time when you got given up?
Yes, some people had it with their YTS, but you couldn't sign a pro until you turned 17. But it was me and a boy named Ronnie Fletcher. We didn't have pros. The other boys did. Elliot Ward, Phil Lumsden, they all had pros. And so there's 5 of us that are centre backs. And I went back to pre-season. I didn't know what hit me, man. Like pre-season running and that, and I was like, wow. Like I was terrible in the running. So long distance, if it's like sprints and stuff, I'm cool. Long distance, cool. I didn't know what hit me. Like a slap in the face, coming in last and that. But when the ball come out, I knew I had to like excel when the ball come out, because I was that bad when running. And then everyone went ahead of me in terms of playing. So how West Ham done it, the two, because we had, the reason why they signed 5 of us, because the under-90s, so it was under-17s and under-19s, the under-19s didn't have no centre-backs. Because we were better than the ones that they had, or had more potential than the ones that they already had, that they had let go. So 2 centre-backs went up, and it was 3 of us with the 17s. Two of them played, and I played in centre midfield for the first month. I played in centre midfield, and then I was doing okay, but wanting to play centre back because I wanted to show that I'm better than these guys. Next thing, one of the centre backs in the 90s gets injured. One of the boys goes up. I go centre back. I'm like, right, this is my time. Feel pressure on me. I've dealt with pressure all my life, being real brother. This is my time. I'm putting pressure on myself. If I want to stay here, I've got to make sure I play well.
How old are you now?
16.
16 now.
So then I'm like, okay, cool. And I remember my first game was Watford away. Ashley Young was playing. Watford away, under 17s. And I just tore it up, man. Tore it up. I played the game next week. I can't remember who we were playing. tore that game up again. And Peter Braybrook, who's my manager at the time, who's no longer with us, God rest his soul, he said to Tony Carr, I don't care who you've got up there, one of them's got to come down and Anton's got to go up because it's too easy for him down there. Then I went up, played a couple of games, smashed it up there, started to form a partnership with Elliot Ward, and then a week before my 17th birthday, played just before my 7th birthday. I remember I was icing my knees because I used to get osculatus where I was growing still. I was icing my knees in the physio room, and Tony Carr come into me, Anton, have you got an agent? And I went, no. He went, well, you're going to need one. We're going to offer you a pro. And I was like, what? And he went, yeah, I'm going to offer you a pro. And he walked out, and I was in the treatment room on my own. And I ripped off the ice, and I was just busting skanks in the...
you must have started singing.
In the physio, I was busting skanks and singing. Man's getting his pro, like. I was enjoying it, yeah. Rang my dad, rang my mum, rang Rio, because Rio had left by then. Rio had gone to Leeds. So when it was always like around the time when I was going to come onto the staff, it wasn't a given that he wouldn't be there, but it'd be better for me if he wasn't. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So he was at Leeds, and so I rang Rio. I've got pro, like, boom, I was buzzing. Everyone was buzzing. And then from then I just went from strength to strength, man. Once I got the pro, I think just after that I started training with the first team. And I'm going into the first team environment. You got to remember, a lot of these guys have played with Rio. Like,
now pause there. That's the first question for me. Living up to your bro's name at West Ham.
Yeah, I see it.
What is that like? Because you're a baller. You've proven yourself. You've got the YTS. You've gone through all of the things. You've been fast track with Kieran Richardson. You've proven to be worthy of a place within the first team. But because we don't have the level of exposure of seeing your talent grow, there are going to be a few of us that are a little bit younger, like, it's only there because of Rio being his brother. What's that like to deal with, knowing that's not the case?
That was a constant thing, a constant statement that was always said. It's only there because of Rio. He'd never be as good as Rio. He's rubbish. That was a constant throughout my whole career.
Where did it constant? When you say constant, where from? Was it something in the media? Was the media?
Families on the sideline. I go and get a ball, I'd hear, right, he'd never be as good as Rio. He's rubbish.
So the West Ham fans themselves would say it?
It'd be families like of people who I was playing against or playing with. Their family, I would hear them saying it when I'm going to get a ball. Players that I'm playing with, players I'm playing against. I weren't really in the media then, but it was I was constantly hearing it. There was a constant battle. But the way that I dealt with it, family love, man. It's the way that I dealt with it, you know. I've always had, growing up in Peckham, in our council estate, in our council flat, I was always told what people think outside of these four walls don't matter. It's the people inside here that what they think, that's what matters, you know. So if we know you're a good player. You know you're a good player. So if anyone's saying anything else out there, unless it's coming from us or your coach, don't worry about it. So when I would hear it, it would just like bounce off of me. It didn't at first. It used to affect me. It did, because I was young. I was hearing it from the age of 9. I was hearing that.
9 years old. Man, not on you like that from 9. From 9, and it was like I just dealt with it in that way, and it was always I dealt with it like, okay, well, I'm going to show you. That's how it was. And then I made my first time I was ever on the bench. First time I travelled. Sorry, so let me go back. Sorry, I'm fast forwarding. No, that's cool, man.
I'm now going to train with the first team.
Yes. And
remember, a lot of the players in that team had played with Rio.
So give us, who was your gaffer at the time when you started training with
Glenn Roder.
Glenn Roder.
God rest his soul, man. What a man.
Did he, am I right in saying, I think his first season he finished off 7th with West Ham? He had the Caddio there and Trevor Sinclair.
I can't remember, yeah. And then they went down the following year.
And they went down the following year.
And that's the following year when I started to come involved. I didn't play, but I started to train a lot with the first team. In the second part of the season, I started training a lot. And I stopped, and I started playing reserves more.
So what was that like coming into a situation where the team's not doing so well? It's a bit of a difficult maybe changing room now. It's maybe a difficult training session.
I didn't see it like that.
You didn't see it like that?
I was living my dream. I was with the first team. Like, what? I'm 17 years old with the first team. I felt pressure on the first couple of sessions because Trevor Sinclair, David James, Michael Carrick.
James is crazy though.
Yeah, Michael Carrick, Joe Cole, Paolo Di Canio, Freddie Canute. He was a baller. Yeah.
Sevilla went mad over there.
So I'm stepping onto their field, and of course the first comparison is Rio because I'm his brother. So it was like, right, I need to do something that makes them go, okay, this he's good, you know.
Was there any teammates that helped you through that though as well?
Joe Cole was good, but that's a West Ham thing. And him, to be fair, but it's a West Ham thing. You see, when you come through at West Ham, you're brought up to help people that are going on the same journey as you are. You're brought up on there. So, okay, Rio was in the first team. Then he helped Joe and he helped Michael Carrick. Then they helped Defoe. Or Rio helped Defoe, whatever. And then Defoe, Mickey Carrick, Joe Cole, they helped Glenn Johnson. Then they helped me.
Incredible.
Then I helped Mark Noble, Chris Cohen. Do you know what I mean? And then he helped for his old tenure at this football club, at our football club. He's helped everyone that's come through. You look at Declan Rice now. Who does he talk about? Mark Noble.
Mark Noble all the time.
Because that's his go-to. Because he's trying to be him. You know, and we was always brought up. That was just in us as being at the West Ham Academy. That's what you looked after your own.
Yeah.
You know, and. What West Ham done, they didn't just make footballers, they make good people. Which is why we was able to go, yeah, let's look after our own. Because if you're not a good person, you're not going to do that.
No, 100%.
You know? So I go into this session, and I'm like, okay, boom. Man bust a little skill. Yeah. I dropped a shoulder. I'm playing against Freddie Canute and Jermaine Defoe. They're shutting me down. I bust a little skill. I come through the middle of them. Confidence is high. Yeah, they now think I'm like Rio. Because that's what he would have done. Boom, play, keeping the ball, playing, enjoying it. And I just went from strength to strength. Next thing you know, I go inside and we're playing Tottenham. And I know, being a West Ham fan, Tottenham's a big game. I look on the sheet, my name's in the squad.
What do you mean?
I said, what? Man's in the squad, yeah?
So is that how you found out? You just
name's on the sheet.
So they didn't even come and tell you, they just go to the sheet and you see right there?
No. Glenn Roeder told me, he said, you're there because you deserve it. You know? And Glenn Roeder, seriously, what he done for me, man, some of the things that he said to me stuck with me for my whole career. He said to me, he said, do you know why your first training session with the first went, do you know why you're here? I went, why? I went, one, because you're good enough, and two, because my first impression of you. He went, Anton, your first impression in football is one of the most important things. I went, okay, so explain to me why I'm here then. What did you see? He went, Anton, composure. I went, what do you mean? He went, well, I came and watched the game. He was playing against Everton in the youth team. The ball went up in the air. It was windy. And he was on the edge of the box. It come out from corner. I was up in the air. And I went up for the header, but I shouted keepers, and I let it hit the back of my head and it just rolled back into the keeper's hand. I was surrounded by players. He went, I saw that and I went, okay, I need to look close at this boy. And that was his first impression of me. And from that, he took a liking to me and wanted to help me, along with the other coaches like Roger Cross, who was my reserve team manager, who was wicked. To the point, I used to protect that because I was on the first team schedule now. So you finish half one, ready to go home. I'm ready to go. I'm changed, ready to go. Roger Cross going, Anton, where you going, bruv? I'm going, what do you mean? I said, going home. Went, you think you're on the first team schedule, do you? Because you're training the first team. I said, yeah. He went, and he used to go to me, say, Anton, do you think your ball into the front man's good enough? And listen to what I'm saying. He say, do you think your ball into the first team is good enough? Anton, do you think your heading's good enough? Do you think it is? And when someone's saying, do you think it is, that means that they don't think it is. That's the way I took it.
Yeah, that's what my mum used to do to me.
Yeah? And I'd go, no, I don't think it is. Then why are you changed for? Go and get your kit back on. We're going out in 20 minutes. And he'd take me out and we'd work on things.
To be honest with you, you can definitely see that as an all-round centre-back, he was very, very comfortable on the ball. Some of the goals you scored, a couple volleys from the edge of the area, and that were crazy. There was one game in particular, I remember we watched. Alan Kerblishy was manager now. I'm sure Alan was manager. And it was Man United, West Ham. I can't even remember if Rio was playing. I just remember Cristiano Ronaldo missed the penalty, and I said, "What? He's human." And he scored the game as well. And he was on a bit of a run. I was sitting down. We're like, and all me and my friends were just like, if Anton scores, it's too funny. And the game's going on for time. I'm thinking, when you get the header and you do score, and you're throwing people off you. I remember you throwing people off you running. No, this is about me right now. How did that feel? How did that whole moment feel? Because as much as I know you'd seen past all of the comments people were making about Rio and so forth, it was something you had to sort of battle through in your career quite early. And although it may have helped you in certain situations, it is also an added pressure that loads of other youth players didn't have. Yeah. But you push through that. Then you score that goal, 1-1. You go on to win that game 2-1. How did that make you feel?
Do you know what? One of the best feelings, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rio's my idol. He's my big brother, but
I respect it.
He's my idol. He was the best. You know, people say it's Anton's bias, his brother, but what he done in the game, don't lie. He's the best. There weren't a better defender than him in the Premier League for me. The only one who might have come pushed him close in that era, if he was injury free, would have been Ledley King.
Ledley was good.
He was the only one, I think. But other than that, I don't think there was one better than him. Personally, he couldn't do what he done. He could. People say he could defend. People didn't like playing against him. He could defend, but what he could do, what others couldn't do, he would start attacks. You look at a lot of goals Man United score started with him. If you really look at it,
he won so much, man. Yeah, and that's your older brother. So
you know, so then scoring that goal, I remember running past him, going, like, oh yeah, man, it was bad. It was wicked. Obviously, all our family's there, innit? Our family and our friends are there.
Come on.
But we were competitive. But we weren't competitive to a point where, like, you know, Rio is a competitive person. Mm-hmm. It was healthy competition. Like we didn't speak. That only time we didn't speak was the week leading up to the game. We were playing against each other. We didn't speak.
Didn't speak once.
No.
Not even like a little text, like, "What, go on, my brother?"
No chance. No text.
None.
Nothing.
You mean I'm moving heartless like that?
Nothing. Got a job to do. No chance.
Do you reckon players still do that now, or nah?
I don't know. You see people hugging and that in the tunnel, so you don't know.
It's all about love, innit?
I'm telling you, like, so the first time we actually played against each other, my big brother, innit? Boom. Nervous.
When was the first time you played?
The year before that.
The year before, okay.
Yeah. So I'm in the tunnel. He's there. He's waiting to go out for the warm up. We've just come out, and at Upton Park, you went downstairs, upstairs, and up onto the ground level. He's in there. I just bought past him. I just bought past him. Go out onto the pitch, warming up. Every so often I'm looking over to him because that's what you do, innit?
Yeah.
Like, I use the word in awe, but I'm in awe that I'm playing against him.
I hear you.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking over at him. Like, it's Rio. Boom. Next thing now, we're in a tunnel to go out, and we're standing side by side because, like, he says, like, if he weren't captain, he stood third. He stood behind the goalkeeper. I'd done the same, following him. Okay. I'd done the same. Jumped the line. Don't touch the white line. Always jumped it. I'd done the same. Yeah. No talk, you know, just looking, focused. He's standing there, just focused. No chat, just focused.
Sky Sports days early, I remember that.
Yeah, madness. Then, you know, you do the line up to shake hands. And then when we come to shake hands, we just both started bending up. Both started bending up. And then, like, it was like an icebreaker. Then we went 1-0 up, and I remember I just went cold. I started running to Marlon Hill because he just scored, and I went cold, man. And I was going, have that, big bruv, have that. Like, I was like enjoying it, like proper. But they ended up winning the game. Went up and saw the family. He came up to see the family. Fast forward a year, I score a goal. We win the game 2-1. My man didn't come and see the family. He got on the bus and went straight home.
Serious?
Straight back up to Manchester. Man booted up the water dispenser, booted it up.
That's the old ground though. You can't go smash up your old yard.
He was vexed. He was vexed.
A man smashed up his old yard because he lost there.
Yeah,
Rio's
and then didn't come up to see none of the family. Went and got straight on the bus back up to Manchester. Said to text my mum and dad, I'm not coming up. I'll speak to you on the phone. Boom, done.
He was barking up the wrong tree. He was fuming. I can't believe he moved like
vexed, that. But obviously he didn't want what was coming up there, which was obviously all our friends and that are there as well.
He didn't want the embarrassment.
Little brother beat big brother. That's what it was going to be, and he didn't want none of it. Which, to be fair, when you're the big brother, you don't really want to hear that.
Sometimes you gotta give certain man their flowers though. Give Anton his flowers. That was your day, innit? Like
no, but I understand it. I respect it. He's a champion. He's a winner. You know, it doesn't matter if it's me. Doesn't matter whoever it is. He's a winner.
And that was the way.
And listen, that's one thing about Rio. He would never say that. He would never ever say that he wanted me to be better than him. He would never say that. But if I would have been, he would have been happy inside. But he would never say it out loud.
Serious? It's that Man United thing I'm telling you. And I blame the commentary as well.
It's not just that, it's him. That's the way I'm so focused that I want to be the best. I want to win everything.
No, I hear you.
Do you know, that's why he won what he won. That's why he was classed as the best in the world, because that's the way he was. But I know, buzzing, to see me make as a footballer, he was as proud as my mum and dad. Of course he was. But I don't think he would ever have gone, if you're better than me, that's cool. No chance. If I would have got close to being better than him, he would have went up another level, because he wouldn't have wanted me to be inside. 100%. But you got to respect that.
Wherever floats your boat, as long as you don't sink like the Titanic. I can't say that, you know what I'm saying? Because, look, man, the West Ham chapter of your life, it just sounds so beautiful, though. Like, your brother came through it, you came through it. You take a look at the talent that was coming through at the time, and still to this day, just to be a part of that is beautiful itself. And then you leave. The club you go to have got a dope DVD, though. It's not a DVD, it's on Prime or something like that. Tigo talks about it all the time. I want to watch it. But Sunderland, what was that like? Because you're from Peckham, you're in London, and now you're moving so close to Scotland, you might as well just get some snow, fam. It's so cold up there.
Do you know what? It was wicked, you know?
Yeah.
It was good. I don't regret anything I've done in my career, if I'm honest. Everything was a lesson, you know?
And you played some great talent. I'm talking about Zenden was over there.
Zenden was bad.
That game was... you didn't play in that game when they won 3-0 though against Chelsea. You didn't play in that game.
No, I was on the bench.
That game there made me go, wait, Danny Welbeck was there early days as well. Talk to us about the Sunderland days.
It was good.
How did the move come about? How was
Keane,
that when you...
Roy Keane. So Newcastle actually coming for me first, and then Sunderland. But I didn't want to go Newcastle.
How come?
Because at the time, West Ham was unstable at board level.
Okay.
The club was unstable. The Icelandic owners were losing a lot of money and stuff, and I still didn't want to leave. I didn't want to go nowhere. So who was the director of football at the time? Nani, his name was. He was the director of football. He come to me and said, Sunderland have just made a bid for you, 8 million, we're accepting it.
Ross.
And I went, okay. And he went, well, you got to go. I said, no, I'm not going. These times, 2 weeks previously, Alan Kirbyshear brought me and Mark Noble into the office. Well, he brought us separately, but he said to both of us, I want to build a team around you two. Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, Nani's saying to you...
And then 2 weeks later, Nani's saying to me, like, we've just accepted 8 million for you. You got to go. And I'm like, no chance. He's going to me, Roy Keane's there, man. He'll be good for you. I said, well, you better bring Roy Keane here then, because I'm not leaving. And it was like, we can't do that. I went, well, I'm not going. But then they pulled on my heartstrings and like said, Anton, if you don't go, man, it's this money the club need. If you don't go, then the club could be in like financial trouble if you don't go.
Was it real? Was that true though?
I don't know, man. But you know, so when they said that to me, they pulled on my heartstrings. And when they said that to me, I said, okay, well, I'll go and have a chat with Roy Keane and see what he's saying. But I'm not definitely going, but I'll go and see what Roy Keane's got to say. Went up to see Roy Keane and he just sold it to me, man.
What did he say?
He said to me...
Was he really that angry? Was he really angry or was he just calm?
No, man.
Because
No,
the
he's
ITV
cool.
thing makes me think
He's cool, man.
distance, 2 meters, even without COVID.
No, he's cool, man.
So you're
He's actually quite funny. Like, he's funny. But I got there and he said to me, listen, Anton, know you're a good player. We just about stayed in the Premier League last year. We want to sustain that. And I think you could add to that to go in there. He said, but when people talk about centre-backs, they talk about your Rio, your brother, John Terry, Carragher, Woodgate, Ledley King. Yeah? They're top. That's who you're fighting with to get in the England squad. And then you got the next layer underneath. People talk about, in the Premier League, they talk about Jonan Lescott. Not for England, but they talk about Richard Dunn. For me, he said, for me, you're in that category. But I think I can help get you into the England squad. I was like, okay, cool. And then that was it for me, man. Like, we had a little laugh and a joke and that, and he was cool. And son, I was sold. And then next thing you know, £8 million, I'm going to Sunderland.
So talk me through that now, because now you've made this commitment to go to another football club and you're leaving behind everything like West Ham that you've built so beautifully to start a new chapter. Roy Keane's there. He wants you to get into the England team. First season, what are your thoughts?
Well, Roy Keane stayed for, I think, 2.5, 3 months and then ducked out. So man bought me and then ducked out for his own reasons, which you got to respect. I was gutted by it, if I'm honest, because no matter what people say about him, I really liked him. I think he's a really, really good manager.
Yeah.
I thought he was a top manager. Do you know what I liked about him more than anything? He paid £8 million for me, but he treated me the same as everybody else. There weren't no favouritism. If you've done something wrong, you've done something wrong. No matter if I paid £8 million for you or not. Whereas if you hear other people talk about other managers, if they brought you in, they won't give you a bollocking. They'll give someone else a bollocking. That's how some managers are. But Roy Keane weren't like that, and I like that about him because that's how I grew up.
Yeah, you should have come Broadwater Farm. Would have given you Classford and Colonel.
Do you know
They
what I
shout
mean?
at anyone. They shout at your parents.
Do you know what I mean? So that's how he was, and I like that because not many managers that are like that. There's not many that I really like that, and I really like that about him.
What things do you think you got out of your game that maybe other managers were unable to get out of your game?
Do you know what there was? There was a fear of letting him down. Not fearing him, because I didn't fear him, but a fear of letting him down.
Was it that respect that you had for him? You didn't want to disappoint him?
The respect levels I had for him, the fact that Roy Keane wants to pay £8 million for me.
Yeah.
And he's treating me the same as everyone else, which I liked. But the respect levels I had for him, I was scared of letting him. I didn't want to let him down.
So 3 months into you being there, Roy Keane leaves. Now that was the whole reason you kind of moved. You didn't want to move in the first place. And now you're at a point where you're like, wait, so what is the next chapter? Where is your mind state now? Because 3 months before that, you're thinking about getting in England. Is that still your thought process whilst you're figuring out who the new gaffer's going to be? Yeah,
it's still it was always mine until it got to a certain point. I always thought I could play for England until it got to a certain point in my career. Especially watching players that I played with or played in front of for England and 21s making their debut. I was thought I could get that. I can do that. I can play there. And it was a case of like my mind went to a place where I was like, okay, well, I'm here. The objective's still the same. Make Sunderland a Premier League club, not a yo-yo club. That was my objective as a Sunderland player to do. And we stayed up last game of the season. We stayed up, and so I'd done my job. Then Steve Bruce comes in. So that was with Ricky Sprazier that first year. Then I used all of my experiences that I had playing for West Ham, staying up. When we stayed up last game of the season against Man United at Old Trafford with Tevez and that.
Oh, what a game.
I used all of my experiences from that run-in to help us at Sunderland. And by the way, another reason why I wanted to go to Sunderland, because Kieran was there. So it was like a full circle.
You're linking back up with Kieran
Linking back up with Kieran.
What was that like, linking back up with Kieran after so long? Was it almost like he just snapped back into, like, it was just like you didn't even miss each other? It was just like muscle memory straight away.
That's how it is. That's when you're real friends, that's what happens. When you're proper friends, you could not speak for years, and then you see someone, and it's just like you spoke yesterday.
I thought it was like that with swimming. I went swimming the other day, big man. I almost drowned. I was in the shallow end. So not everything in life moves like that, but it's good that you and Kieran Richardson had that mechanic. So now you're with Sunderland. Things are going well. You've survived relegation.
Steve Bruce comes in. And that's when things started to go left a bit, if I'm honest. Never really let me get a run in the team. Don't know what the problem was.
What was he like as a gaffer? Did he not talk or communicate? He seems really honest on TV. He said he's not even that good. And I was like, big man, like, give me a hug. It's not that bad, fam.
Listen, he don't leave no stone unturned. He's tactically okay. Like, he will set up his team to do this, and you will know exactly what you need to do. Mm-hmm. You know, I like that in him. He was a good centre back, which I was happy that he was a centre back because he could coach me. Did it happen? No, it didn't. I don't think I was the type of centre back that because I'm not the type of centre back that he was.
He started Fergie time, so no.
But he's not he's not the type of.
He's not going to play the ball out.
No.
Okay. He like a Steve Bold in there, man. There.
Yeah.
Like, even Steve Bold started playing the ball out.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, Steve.
But you know, like, I wouldn't get a run in the games. I'd play well. Play 2 games. I'd come out. You know, and
then what's like that as a player? Because you're thinking, if I come in, I got to play well. That's why I should stay in the team. But then you're looking at the gaffer like, we didn't really play the same. Is that the reasons why I'm not in the team? What's that like in you?
Sometimes you think like, what's the point? I'm playing to not play next week. Like, I'm not playing. It's not like I'm gonna go and play a game, play well, and then stay in. And rightly so, I should stay in. Do you know what I mean? That's not. So you train all week to then get an opportunity. You play the game, you play well. Next week you're thinking, I've got to be playing, and all of a sudden you're not playing. It's like, well, like, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? But I'm quite vocal. I will ask questions. I'm quite direct. I'll ask questions, but always said, no, everything's fine. Then we had a mad argument.
You and Steve?
Yeah, we had a mad argument. It was documented in the papers that we had an argument and stuff up in Sunderland. Can't remember if the Nationals got it. They might have done. But we had a mad argument. I had a hamstring problem in pre-season, and there was talk of me going to Italy, to Sampdoria, Napoli,
Lombardy, and them, man.
There was talk of me going there, up in the papers up there, and I came in. I'd played the whole of pre-season. I was fit, but I had a niggle in my hamstring from the previous game against Leicester. In pre-season, we had a game in Hoffenheim. I think we was flying to Hoffenheim, playing and flying back, and it was the day before the game. And I hadn't run all week, you know. I was nursing this, so I hadn't run all week, and the season started the following week. Yeah. And I came in and I said to the physio. The physio said, I'm gonna run you today. Make sure that it's okay, so you're fit for tomorrow. And I went, I haven't run all week, so how am I going to run hard? I went, I need to look after myself here. Talking about looking after myself for the start of the season. Yeah. Not anything else. Because I weren't set on going anywhere. Yeah. And then he obviously took that I was saying I need to be ready if I need to move clubs. That's how the physio took it. So the physio went and told the manager that.
The physio's on a 619.
Yeah, he went and told the coaching staff and the manager, Antons, saying he needs to look after himself. He don't want to go outside. I said, but I actually said, okay, no problem. Let me warm up. So I went into the gym, started turning over on the bike. Next thing now, the assistant manager Eric Black comes in. Anton, why don't you want to play tomorrow? I went, what? What do you mean? Don't want to play? He went, what's this about you going to Italy? He went, is there talk of it? I went, I think so. I think like the chairman knows. He went, well, the manager don't know, and it's nothing to do with me. But he went, is that why you don't want to play? I went, no. He went, why don't you want to play? I said, because my hamstring. He went, so that's not why you don't want to play. I said, Eric, are you like being serious? I said, if you knew me, you'd know I want to play every minute. But my question is this, would you rather me be fit for tomorrow or fit for the start of the season? He went, the start of the season. I said, there's your answer then. He went, okay, no problem. He goes out. 5 minutes later, Steve Bruce comes in. Why don't you want to play tomorrow? I said, what do you mean I don't want to play tomorrow, boss? Why don't you want to play? I said, I can't. I don't think I can. I said, I'm going to try, but I don't think I can. He went, what's this about Italy? I went, well, there's talk of it. Then all of a sudden, my man just went off on one. Who's going to want you with your mentality? Who's going to want you? Give me your agent's number. Let me ring them. Let me ring him.
This happened to me in the police station, man. Yeah. Just kept coming in.
He went, let me ring them. I'll tell them about your mentality. Who's going to want you with your mentality? And I was like, and there was a few people in there. And I was brought up with manners. Yeah. If my manager or someone older than me, this is me in their domain. So if it's in his office or it's in the dressing room, because that's his dressing room, you can cuss me. I take it on the chin all day long. But don't embarrass me when we're not in that type of situation. And I was like, bro, who are you talking to? And we just got into it. Man sent me home for 2 weeks. I was in London for 2 weeks.
He sent you home?
Sent me home.
They done that to me in university. What's that?
Sent me home.
Football's just like life, isn't it? Boys?
Sent me home. I was in London for 2 weeks.
Because you had an argument that he started.
Yeah, it sent me home. Right? We didn't start the season too well. All of a sudden, like I'm sitting over, I'm earning decent money, and I'm not grafting. And I'm like, I don't like this. I'm earning money and not doing nothing. My man's ringing people. I'm going to fine him 2 weeks' wages. All this rubbish. I'm hearing all sorts. I'm hearing all sorts. Next thing now, I spoke to the chairman about it. I rang the chairman. And I said, look, Mr. Chairman, it was Niall Quinn. I said, Mr. Chairman, I said, I don't like the fact that like the team's not playing, we're not winning. I'm sitting in on good money and I'm not grafting. I don't like it. And I know I can help the team. I don't like it. I want to come any danger of me coming back. And he went, I'll give me 10 minutes. He rings me back. Ring the gaffer, I want to speak to you. So I rang Steve Bruce. Hello gaffer, it's Anton. You know when there's an awkward silence, man's waiting for me to apologise.
No way.
So I apologised. I said, look gaffer, I'm sorry for the way that I spoke to you. I shouldn't have spoke to you like that. I said, but if you would have taken me into your office or whatever, I wouldn't have spoken to you that way. I would have just listened and took whatever you said to me. I went, okay, no problem, come up tomorrow. But before you go into the dressing room, come up to see me. When you come to see, make sure you come and see me before you go in the dressing room. I want to speak to you. I said, no problem. I went back up, drove back up, went into training, went in there, knocked the door, come in, went in, silence again. Man wanted me to apologise again. So I apologised again.
What?
Yeah, I apologised again.
It's because he's got two first names, fam. I'm called Kyle Stewart. I'm just angry all the time. I can see it.
And then all of a sudden he went, well, you're not gonna change, or you're not gonna train with the first team no more. You're gonna be with the youth team, because if you do leave, I don't want you in and around the first team. I would rather you not be around them. So I just said, okay, no problem. I was training with the reserves, the reserves and the youth team over the other side. But what they didn't know is that I'd stayed fit. So I was in the gym every day, running, trying to stay fit. So I was aerobically fit. So I came back and I was training hard. I was training like I trained with the first team, but setting a standard to the young boys. Yeah. Something's happened with being a manager, but it don't change my mentality. I'm going to train properly. I'm going to deal with this properly. So I've done that. And then Phil Bardsley got injured. He was playing right back. He got injured on the Saturday. And we had a game on the Monday against Colchester, I think it was, in the League Cup. Man played me right back in the League Cup. Done well, played well. But before that, on that Monday, I had training. So my normal routine is to come out of the doors where you collect your boots and everything, and you bust a left. You don't walk straight, you bust a left under the tunnel to the other side of the training ground. That was my routine, so that I was off. But I was meant to be training the first team because I was involved in the game on the Tuesday or the Monday, whenever it was. I got all the way over to there. No one didn't tell me what I was doing. I got all the way over to there for the reserve team manager at the time to go, Anton, what are you doing? You were the first team. So they let me all the way over there, and I had to dust back, and I was late for the warm-up. I was late. But Anton, you're late. Well, I didn't know. Like, it was mad. It's like mind games. It was mad. But then I played the game against Colchester, played well. Then I played against Man City on the following Sunday in the Premier League, played well. And then it became that pattern. Play 2-3 games, didn't play again. Play 2-3 games, didn't play again. And I could never get a run. And I'm someone who I need to play. I need to play. To see the best of me, I've got to keep playing. And then following season, I go back, I'm like, wow, that was a hard year, man. Emotionally, that was hard. Like, mentally, that was hard.
Had you kind of just sort of closed the chapter a little bit on the Sunderland because of it? No, you stood up for it.
I was still up for it. Then they just got Wes Brown in that summer and John O'Shea. So now all of a sudden I've got proper competition. Like, no disrespect to some of the people that I played with, but I always in myself knew I was better than them. So it wasn't like I need to prove myself to be better than them, because I always played that way. I was always proving myself to be somewhere near Rio.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That was your level.
And this is what's mad. People ask me like, well, how come you didn't fulfill your potential? How come you didn't? And it's only now that I retire and I look back at my career, and when I speak with my friends, you know what? You see, when I became Anton Ferdinand, not Rio's brother, it was so big to me. It was such a massive relief. Like, I'd done it. That I just relaxed. Like, I'd done the ultimate, that was the ultimate to me.
To get out of that
out of that shadow. Because I've been in it since I was 9 years old. It was like, well, people are saying, oh, there's Anton Ferdinand. Not there's Rio Ferdinand, brother. It was that big to me because I'd always carry that pressure. It's like, rah, I've done it.
Tigo has definitely spoken about something that I had written down, but I didn't go into it. But this is Tigo's like go-to player. Man like JH, Mr. Jordan Henderson, Michael Jordan Henderson. What did you see at him from a young age, if anything, where this boy could become what he is now?
Do you know what? What you see now, he's always had it.
Serious?
His endeavour, his work ethic, unreal. Like, to the point, I'm in the gym, or first team players in the gym, he'll be scanning, be watching, be praying what they're doing. Bro, Anton's doing 20 pull-ups. Kenwyn Jones is doing 50 press-ups. What's Kieran Richardson, what's his score on the Batak, which is a reaction thing, where it lights up and you got to press the light? What's his score? His score 63. And he'd log it. For me to be where they are, I've got to be doing what they're doing. I've got to be doing their numbers or better in their numbers. My man would work on it, come back 3 weeks later, Anton, I can do the same pull-ups as you, I can do more pull-ups than you.
He's super competitive.
But that was in him from a young age.
So you're taking your foot off the pedal, third season at Sunderland, you're in and out of the side, but you wasn't happy to leave.
No.
So how did that happen? How did you end up leaving in order to go QPR?
So we started the season and I go back fit because Wes Brown's there. And now I'm playing with someone I've got to prove I'm better than.
Yeah.
And he's played with Rio and he's played at Man United, so now I've got to prove I'm better than him. So there's a bit of fire in my belly again. And I've always said, from when me and Steve Bruce had an argument, Steve Bruce ain't saying to no one, if he was going to be like that, I don't know if he did, and I don't think he would have done, but I wouldn't like it if he was saying, like, I dealt with Anton, man. Like, that was in me, like, I'm not allowing someone to be able to go around and say Anton's mentally weak. It just weren't in me for someone to be able to go and say that.
I'm just immature. I'd be like, big man, your nose is going this way. You can't say that about me. How can your nose go that way and you want to walk this way? Make up your mind.
So like that was in me, and we went to Liverpool, Anfield away, at Anfield, and I think we beat them 1-0. I think we beat them. I can't remember the score. I think we beat them. Suarez, Carroll up front. Me and Wes Brown, bad.
Cold.
Come on. Cold. Then I think we played 4 games in pre-season and won them all, and just formed a partnership. Then we got Anfield, boom, beat them. Then we play. Who did we play? Then after that we played the Tyne and Weir derby. So we played against Newcastle. We drew that at home. Played well again. Next thing now, we after that we then go to Swansea away. And this is when Brendan was there, like, they were good.
They were kicking ball.
Yeah. But in that week, a team in Ukraine come for me, Dnipro or something. And Steve Bruce was ringing me saying, listen, you got to go. And I was like, no, I'm not going. What am I going for? He's going, listen.
He tried to send you Ukraine?
Look at what they're offering you. Like, I was like, no, I'm not going. I don't want to go.
He tried to send you Ukraine?
I got more to prove. I got more to do in the Premier League. I don't want to leave. Why am I leaving the best league in the world? I don't want to go. And that was ongoing for a couple of days, but then played me on the Saturday against Swansea. We drew 0-0 down there. And then after that game, we was at the airport, getting ready to fly back up to Sunderland, up to Newcastle. And he come to me and said, listen, with all that's gone on this week, well played today. And shook my hand. So I was like, rah, okay. And then we had a conversation. QPR come in, and he went, listen, QPR have come in, it's back in London, it's in the Premier League, you want to stay in the Premier League, go. And I was like, not sure. He went, listen, like, as long as I'm at this football club, you ain't getting another contract. And I was in my last year.
Is that what he said to you?
Yeah.
So he was just sweetening you up just to... So
I was like, okay, well, let me go and see. I said, I'm not definitely going. Let me go and speak to Neil Warnock and see what's going on. And then if I like it, I'll go. If not, I'm coming back to play. And that was it. I went and see Neil Warnock, and that was the end of it.
So let's take a look at this now. So at West Ham, as a kid, you enjoy playing with your friends. Kieran Richardson comes, you form a bond. Kieran Richardson obviously makes his move to Manchester United. That's the first kind of hurdle you need to get over. Anton Ferdinand, all right, cool, I've got to play football. Then you approach the whole, it's Rio's brother. That's another hurdle you have to get over. This is as a young man as well. You've managed to get through that. To me, it was fantastic at West Ham. I enjoyed watching that West Ham side. So many good players. You've then gone over to Sunderland. Things are going well again. You survive relegation. Another hurdle. This is, again, very early on in your career where you have a spat with Steve Bruce over something that necessarily you could have just sorted out a lot easier than it did. But then that made tomorrow and the next day quite difficult. You've then made the move to QPR. I'm just going to get to the centre of it and just say that game for me was just very weird for me. So I'm going to be honest with you and say I'm watching Match of the Day every week with my dad. And my dad's a strong, like, what's going on type of thing with football. He doesn't like the way football is. He thinks that some of the players that should be getting more attention aren't getting more attention. And he also always feels that if you are a foreign individual and you come to this country, they're just going to treat you like an English individual. And if it's not what you do, they're going to make you the problem. So you've got to find that fine balance. And he goes, that's what a lot of the younger black players and so on and so forth are going to be going through, because they're not coming from English homes. They're coming from different types of homes with different types of cultural differences that won't be understood in football. So my dad goes, you're going to have loads of problems with that. I remember after the incident, a couple of weeks or 3 weeks after, I said it to Rio as well. I said, Rio is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Watching Match of the Day and this whole kick it out thing, and all they could focus on, the fact that you at QPR wasn't wearing a t-shirt and Rio wasn't wearing a t-shirt at United. And the reasons why I thought that was the illest thing I've ever seen in my whole life, because it didn't matter what anybody else thought. Two brothers said, scrap it. Like, Rio was prepared, he told me in an interview, prepared to get into an argument with Alex over it. That's how much he was defending you and defending the situation. Before I get onto the actual incident, what was that moment? Because the Match of the Day, I just remember, if there was like Twitter and all of that around, that would have gone mad because going back to
it did. Twitter was there.
Twitter was
that
earlier,
time.
wasn't it?
Twitter was there. That was the early days of Twitter. And it did go mad.
Rife now, but I remember that was crazy for me. Everywhere I went, everyone was talking about it. Everybody was talking about that situation. Why did you have the bravery to not wear the t-shirt when everyone's saying it's like a right? You have to wear it in the Premier League.
Because what Kick It Out stood for, they never done it. They never stood up to be counted for around the time. You know, we'd had meetings with Kick It Out. I had meetings with Kick It Out. Me and my mum was in there, and so my relationship with Kick It Out is very good now. After the documentary, we sat down and reasoned and spoke about things. Me and Troy spoke about a lot of things. So we got a good relationship now. And I must say, Troy wasn't involved as he is now in that time, because I think he would have been very vocal about it. But my mum, as a white woman, is the only white person in the room. Yeah? And other than another guy named Dan, who worked for Kick It Out, but he was actually the best out of them. It's like he got it. And my mum's saying to them, okay, see around the time of, I don't care if you're going to say this, you're going to say that in the papers, I don't really care if who's going to come out and say what. But you see, when my son goes to court, what I want to see is Kick It Out t-shirts everywhere. And it was like, I'm not sure if we can do that because it shows favouritism. My mum said, no, it doesn't. How can it show favouritism? John Terry's saying he never said it. So he wants to kick it out too.
It's true.
So you're supporting both players effectively, ain't you? Turned up, not one. Only person there from Kick It Out was that Dan. Only person. Anyone else wouldn't even have known.
So how does that make you feel? Because situations occurred where it's now affecting you after 90 minutes. And I understand football will affect you after 90 minutes, but I've seen footballers, after a couple of hours, we go back to life. When it's something that affects you after football because it still is situation, how does that affect your 2-3 weeks now as a footballer going into training the next day and living your life?
We can't call it 2-3 weeks, we call it 9 years, man.
My G.
That's the madness. It's not a 2-3 week period, it's a 9-year period. It was a whirlwind. The ripple effect was absolutely mad. I'm telling you, so crazy. You know it now, being in the public eye, right? The only time you're not working is when you're in your yard, innit? That's the only time you're not working, is when you're in your yard. Because the minute you walk out your door, you're representing Poet. You're representing your brand. So you have to be careful with what you're doing, because people will look to try and make you be what you're not. Yeah? Which can harm your brand, which then means you might not always get these gigs. You might not be able to do this, you might not be able to do that. Do you understand what I mean?
100%.
Yeah? I had no get out from it. So I walk outside, I'm representing QPR, I'm representing my own brand. But I'm walking down the street and I'm hearing people, Anton, John Terry was right, you are a black cunt. And there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. Just got to swallow it.
I'm just going to point to that every time I'm going to say.
But you just got to swallow it, because if I retaliate, I'm getting in trouble. Right? But then it's on the papers, left, right and centre. I go in places, I'm going into training, front page, back page, middle page, I'm everywhere. This is everywhere.
But where were the papers in training as well?
Yeah, so when you go in like for breakfast, papers on tables and stuff like that. Then, and when I got in my house, Twitter, the phone.
But do you know what? I always find this interesting. Me and T were talking about it once upon a time. It was to do something else, but in correlation with this, that's why I said 2-3 weeks, because you're going back to work. Something's happened at work. If something happened in this workplace right here, and I go home, and we haven't spoken about it, when we come back, we got to have some talk. We can't have all that awkward silence like me and Steve Bruce are sitting down. We've got to talk about it. You've gone back to work. You can't even avoid it. The papers are there. Everyone's getting their food in the cafeteria or the canteen or whatever. Some players are coming in. Who's the first few players to come up to you and just ask you, are you cool? On a level, away from every like football stuff.
Sean Wright Phillips. Like, he asked me, he used to ask me regular, you cool? You know? But it's hard for him because Ashley's his mate, John Terry's his mate, I'm his mate. But he would always ask me if I'm okay. Always. Nader Manua, when he came. Loads of the boys. Joey Barton used to ask me quite a bit, to be fair.
Crazy guy.
You know, a lot of them gave me support. A lot of them did. I can't say they didn't. But I just couldn't get. It was just like a whirlwind where I couldn't get away from it. But in my head, I was cool. I was actually all right. In my head, I'm thinking I'm cool. All I want to do is play football. I'm playing. I'm cool because anything that's ever happened in my life, football's always been the one thing that's been able to take any pain or anything away.
So that was your escapism?
Because that was my escape. So I just thought I was cool. And that's the truth, man. I just thought everything was cool. Got sent bullets the night before a game before we played Chelsea again in the FA Cup.
Pardon?
Got sent bullets, man. So I got sent bullets then. And Mark Hughes weren't going to play me in that game because of it. And we was playing at 12 o'clock at Loftus Road in the FA Cup against Chelsea. And I turned up to the game because we had to go and stay in a hotel because it was early. I turned up to the game, to Loftus Road to park the car, to get on the coach to go to the hotel. I walked into the reception. Not Sky Sports News, Sky News breaking, the orange, the yellow band at the bottom. Anton Ferdinand sent bullets in the post. I'm like, no, I haven't. The player liaison at the time, Paul, comes out and went, yes, you have.
So let me get this straight. You're finding out news about what you're getting sent before you even get...
Before I know about it.
So what part of that's fair? So I'm confused at this now. So the hotel's just got to leak information to Sky?
No, it was at the ground. It was at Loftus Road. Obviously, someone in there has obviously said it. I don't know who, but someone in there has obviously said it.
So there's bare 6ix9ines everywhere. Everyone's just snitching.
Like, so it was mad. And then we went and had lunch. We went and had the evening meal. And after my evening, I was starting the game because we'd done shape and everything the day before the game. And then knock at the door, Mark Hughes at the door. And he's like, I don't think I'm going to play you tomorrow, Anton. And I went, what? I don't think I'm going to play you. I said, Gaffer, seriously, play me. I need to play. He went, no, this is like too far, man. There's bullets, can't play. Like, I went, listen, Gaffer, so if you don't play me, you're going to lose me. I'm telling you. I said, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. My temperament's cool. I'll be fine and I will play well. But if you don't play me, it'll be hard for me because it'll make me feel like they think they've won. So you got to play. I need to play this game. And he went, are you sure? I said, yeah. So then he played me in the game.
Yeah, smart kid.
And do you know what the man says? Like, we lost the game, but I played really well in that game, yeah. But you know what the man says? So Loftus Road is what, 20,000 people, yeah, at Loftus Road. I played 90,000 people in the FA Cup final and other games, yeah. See, at Loftus Road, I could feel pairs of eyeballs on me for the whole thing. The minute I stepped off the coach to go into the thingy, it was just like the eyeballs just felt heavy. Then I'm in a tunnel getting ready to go out for the warm up. And as soon as I stepped into sight, it was just like, boom, I could feel it. And we're talking about 20,000 people. But I didn't feel any of that type of stuff when I played in front of 90. It was mental. It was actually mental. It was mad. But I didn't mind the pressure of it. You know what I mean? I also didn't mind the pressure of it.
How old are you at the time, please, Anton?
I was 20, what was that? Mid-20s I was.
So I'm going to give you a perspective of a fan at home watching Match of the Day, again, from me, and most of the people in my estate, shout out Ferry Lane, Chris Bells and the Smilers, Tysons, the Gareths, all of us were just very confused. Very, very confused. This is a world we love. This is a world to us that's it. It's either you get involved in this thing in some capacity or life ain't that interesting, bro. Man, don't feel protected when you see that, bro. I don't feel protected to jump into that world now.
Do you know what? See, I watched you and Chucky break it down. You lot chopped it up. It's the best I've heard.
Thank you.
It's the best I've heard. Everybody, everywhere else has gone with what they think rather than chatting the facts. You two spoke the facts. I said this to you when we was messaging about doing this. It's the first one I said to you I'd like to speak to you about because I watched you and Chucky.
So what did you?
Years ago.
So when you watched it, what was the first thing that came to mind? What was you thinking? Cause
somebody gets it, because everywhere else no one weren't getting it. But right, there's people that get it. There's people actually that get it, that are speaking what my thoughts are. Do you know what I mean? It was mad. And I understand when people were saying, why didn't you speak out? Why wouldn't you speak out? Why this? Why that? Now, by watching the documentary, you'll understand why. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm asking you, do you understand why after watching the documentary?
No. I understand why before anything you don't speak out.
Of course. But I'm saying now, because obviously now you know Rio. Yeah. You know me.
Yeah.
So you're going to question and you're going to go, right, why? Now you could go, right, why didn't you speak out? Knowing you guys, why didn't you speak out?
I can tell you why I knew though. And I knew fully early. It's because the home I grew up in told me the dangers of this outside the house. Mm-hmm. They said to me, these are the pros and these are the cons. My father used to always say to me, this is the person you are, this is who I would like you to be, but in being that, these are the problems and this is what you have to develop, acceptance.
I think
I already knew.
I think and in making a documentary, yeah,
which is incredible, by the way.
Thank you. There's prominent moments in the documentary, yeah, and I'll get to them. Mm-hmm. But I want to clarify, because a lot of people say this. They say, I've heard a lot of people speak and they say, he's only jumped on this doing this because of Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. I was approached by the BBC, by Wonder TV. They approached New Era Global Sports Management and New Era Ingenious 2.5 years ago. So this is a long time before George Floyd, anything happened. Yeah. If it would have been 5 years ago, I would have said no. But I dealt with things personally, so I was able to speak about it. Because if I was speaking from a place of rage or anger, this message of positive change, which has been my message throughout the whole thing, would never have been there. Do you understand me? Yeah? So I dealt with a lot of things before to get that moment. But it was 2.5 years ago that I got approached to do this. Right? It's the first time I felt like I could actually talk. But do you know why? Because I'd retired.
Jesus. And that makes a lot of sense, because a lot of players, when they're playing...
Because I retired, I felt like I could speak. I was retiring. I felt like I could speak. I was in Scotland. And I was like, okay, well, I'm in Scotland. This is probably going to be my last year. Cool, let's run with it. Let's talk about it. No problem.
I don't want you to think everyone didn't understand though, because a lot of us understood.
A lot of people understood.
That's the captain of England, mate.
But when I'm going back to prominent moments, so I was saying to the BBC, Anton Wonder, Anton New Era, unless I'm making this my way, I'm not doing it. And my way is, this ain't an Anton versus John Terry conversation. Mm-mm. This is bigger than me and him. Mm-hmm. The conversation's bigger than me and him. What's been going on for years is bigger than me and him. But if we can come together to create some type of positive change, I'm all for that. I'm not on this, don't want to chat to him. He done me wrong. No, we're not going to get past things. We're not going to help the next generation being like that. And that was my thing. I said, but one thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to make a documentary that's like most of the documentary about racism in football has been like before me, where it's just everyone black talking about it. It needs to, it's a societal problem. It's across the board. Do you understand me? For us to get better, for us to make positive change, we all got to chat about it the same way that we chat about it. Everyone's got to chat about it the same way.
But you know what needs to happen? And this is what I believe. You see what you said about Roy Keane? Doesn't matter if he signs you for 8 million. Everyone gets treated the same. Mm-hmm. This is why, and I imagine he's a hard nut. I imagine all of these great things, but I can tell you why he wouldn't have survived in Ferry Lane. In Ferry Lane, you had to tell the truth. Because if you don't tell the truth, it's a problem. If you have a problem and you don't solve it, you've extended that problem. This problem at one point within the media was extended for 365 days. I remember it was like the same month as my birthday where he was fined during pre-season.
Do you know what?
Of course we're going to forget about it. Like, I just said to myself, why is it taking 1 year for the country I live in to identify there's an issue that's happened? And the significance that I can't get past is because of the person in question. The person in question made it difficult, which means you're creating a hierarchy where you can do whatever you want when you're here. The reasons why you did watch that half-cast episode, and I will talk about it, and I genuinely don't care, is because even if I'm here, I'm talking to everybody by society's terms that is here. Because I don't know much people up here. I don't care about people up here. I care about the people down here. Because there's more of them. There's more people that need to be looked after. More people that need to be helped and educated. The people up here have got a responsibility to do what's right. That's why I don't care what he does. He can block me today, yesterday, and tomorrow. The reason why he blocks me is because he has a problem. And when he solves it, everything could be fine. But it's not for me to do. It's not for you to do. It's for him to do.
Yeah.
And his little mate beside him.
I get it.
To me, it's an absolute embarrassment in English football, the fact that nobody has said anything. We just go past it.
But this is where I was going back to when I'm saying about prominent parts in the documentary.
Yeah, that's okay.
You've got Bruno Fernandes, you've got John Terry, on par at the time. One's England captain, one's England vice captain, by the way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, both challenged for titles, both at the top of their game. So they're on par with each other, or should be on par with each other. How can one of them saying they felt powerless? How can someone who's the England vice captain say they felt powerless in this type of situation?
And do you know what's so crazy?
That's prominent.
That's mad, bro.
Prominent.
But the thing is, you don't understand. You may have felt powerless because of where you were positioned. But you see where you're positioned, rich people are a minority. So if you speak to the majority, you gave man power.
Yeah.
Because I saw, do you know what? You're not going to wear the kick it out of Rick. That's the only, in my eyes, that's the only thing man's got over there. And then the two brothers I've watched in football said, nah, forget that. That's one of the most, I don't even know why I remember it. It's one of the most powerful things. Because in Match of the Day, that was the first thing they showed. Yeah. In the news, when they said, we're going to talk about tonight's game, the first thing they showed was you jogging and Rio jogging in a line, obviously in two different pictures, and you're not wearing the T-shirt, and everybody's wearing the T-shirt. Yeah. For me, I said, that is that's just cold. You're not even making a hype. You're not doing anything. You're just saying, we're not standing for this. That's one of the most powerful images for me in football. And it won't get the attention it deserves. That's why I said, it may have gone mad on Twitter, but not like if it was today.
Of course. And it was just us saying really like, you ain't done your job. So you've been fighting this for 20 odd years or 20 plus years. You've been campaigning. And really as a charity, because it's a charity, yeah? As a charity organisation, you've all been waiting for a moment like this to go and stamp your authority. And it don't get bigger than this. Mm-mm. And you foul and you don't do it. Come on. It don't make sense. Do you know what I mean? If you're doing things and you're trying to do this and you're trying to do that to get to a certain point or a certain level, when that level comes and all this stuff that you've done before it, you don't go and attack it the way that you should do. Like, what's the point? What was the point of doing all of this stuff? I
think everything in plain sight is the issue. What happened with you is in plain sight. And I think that's what scared everyone. If it happens in the changing room, we can oversee it. My brother, it happened on national television and people still lied. And my problem with that is when you're backed in the corner, my brother, I cheated on my girl. She saw the text. I just told her everything. Break up with me. Let's just keep it moving. Because the moment I lie now, I've got to hold on to everything I've done as a mistake to try and and then just get rid of the mistake and move forward. That's the problem I feel within English football. There's too many problems. This happens, we cover it up and carry on. We cover it. My brother, your bedroom looks a mess. Tidy it up. Tell the truth. Shame the devil. My problem is how it must have affected you. Because let's go back to the timeline again. At the start of the interview, you said things you missed about football, playing with your friends. So that's a sacrifice you've made as a child. Cool, now you're playing for West Ham. You meet up with Kieran Richardson. Life is lit. All of a sudden, Kieran Richardson drifts off. You're back up by yourself. And these things are just happening and you're just dealing with it. You're not even thinking about it. But it's going to have an effect. Now Anton's playing football compared to Rio. Has to overcome that. Now he's playing West Ham. He gets to move to Sunderland. Things going good. Roy Keane, Steve Bruce. Another thing you have to overcome. Then the start, more or less, of the QPR career, this happens. My problem is, as a 25, 26-year-old Anton Ferdinand, he just hasn't had 3 seasons where he just kicks ball. There's no off-the-field stuff. There's no comparison to anyone. Just 3 seasons of just kicking ball. Everyone deserves that at least without anything thrown at them. And you never got that by the age of, 25, 26. Mentally, where are you now in the world of football?
I lost a lot of love for the game, if I'm honest. I lost a lot of love for the game. Loved the game, but hate what it stood for. That's probably the best way to put it. I still love the game, but I hated what it stood for. And to say, you just felt, how can you have one of the biggest names in football but feel powerless? It's mental. And that's what the documentary was about, is to highlight how not to deal with a situation like this if it ever happened again. That's what my goal was, to highlight things and educate the football association, educate the PFA, educate Kick It Out on how not to deal with a situation if it happens again. Because I don't want someone to feel the way that I felt for 9 years. I don't want someone to feel like that. Do you know what I mean? And that's the reason why I wanted to make the documentary, was to create positive change. And listen, like when you're talking about John Terry, that's why I wanted him on the documentary. It wasn't to, and Ashley Cole, I wanted them both. It wasn't to chat about why this, why that. I'm past that. I don't care about that. If he came to me and said, Anton, I'm sorry about what happened, I don't even care about that. I don't even want to hear that. I don't care. I don't need to hear that. I'm cool. I'm okay. But what I would like to hear is, can we come together? Same thing I was thinking, let's come together. Let's unite for the next generation so no one goes through what we went through.
100%. And most importantly, for me anyway, when you do something, like I said, you said it best. When I leave the house, you're right. I actually got to be poet on my doorstep, mate. It is jarring. You get delivery, I'm having a half an hour conversation with someone about something. And you're right. You had to leave as Anton Ferdinand walking around in a country where you're 3%, mate, of 60 million, where whilst walks around in a country of 89%, I don't imagine he'll have that much difficulties with what he'd done. I'm not saying it would have been easy. What I think he should do is, because he's offended people. Yes, he directed it at you, but it was on national television. He didn't say it like you said in this interview. Steve Bruce, you talk to me like that in my office? Fair enough. It's between us. We're 2 men. Or in your home? Fair enough. But this is in front of everybody. Has done it in front of a stadium, on television. Why can't I be offended? Why can't you come forward with your mate, Mr. Cole, and just say what we done was wrong, we want to move forward, we apologise? Don't you understand that makes it a safe world for people to come into and feel safe? And then, like I said, the documentary, if you were there and apologise and come on the documentary, for me, that is a powerful, powerful thing.
But an apology, I don't care about.
But it's not about.
I don't care about an apology.
The thing is, you're so strong. I think you're just so strong.
But
he shouldn't be able to get away with everything just because you're so strong.
But for me, it's not a case of getting away with something. It's not, because it's neither here. For me, that's neither here nor there. You know, for me, it is about the youth, it's about the kids. It's about the next generation.
Making it safe.
Making it safe for them. And learning from what I did. So I kicked myself for 9 years for not speaking out, for not saying nothing, for not controlling my narrative. Yeah? And the documentary allows me to understand that better than anything. Because for 9 years, for coming up, it's 10 years now, for 9 years, I say, I've been classed as Anton the liar, Anton the this, the that, all negative since this incident. An hour documentary, and all of a sudden, Anton's so strong, Anton's this, Anton's that. Because I've now taken back and controlled my narrative.
Yes.
I've taken back my control of what happened. I've told my truth. Do you understand me?
100%.
You know? But one thing I do want to get across is I know people were looking at me going, "Rah, why is he showing him so much empathy?"
Yeah, I think,
definitely.
Yeah,
a lot of people in our community would be saying that. 100%. Yeah. Let me clarify this.
Go on.
My empathy towards him isn't one of acceptance. My empathy towards him is one of, I don't agree with what's happened, but I'm willing to listen. There's a difference. And for us to move past and for us to create positive change, that's where my empathy had to be. I said to you earlier on, if this was come to me 5 years ago, I would have said no chance because I had anger in me still.
Mad.
I'm at peace. I'm cool. I've dealt with issues that I need to deal with. I think if my mum was alive, I would have struggled to do it.
I totally hear
my
you, man.
My mum passing away allowed me to front up with issues that I've had for a while. Allowed me to because I had to. I had nowhere to go to. But do you know what it was? I had no one to go and speak to about it. I have to speak to my wife about stuff, or speak to my wife about everything. But my mum was my soundboard for absolutely everything. My wife, my soundboard, of course she is, but a mum's talk to a wife's talk so different. Do you understand me? And because I didn't have that soundboard, I had to go and deal with it. I had no choice but to deal with certain things. And the documentary made things, the documentary was therapy.
Can you just give us some information about how we can access the documentary and everything about it in terms of just so more people can be aware of this and so on and so forth?
So the documentary is on BBC iPlayer. I'm not sure of how much longer, but it's there, man. And listen, I made it for everyone. I didn't just make it for myself. I made it for everyone. I didn't go into it thinking this is going to be therapeutic. It became a therapeutic process. I dealt with issues on it. I dealt with issues once I'd watched it for the first time. You know, one being, like, I'm not stupid. I'm not dunce. I wouldn't sit here and say, oh, it was my fault, the reason why my mum died, because her first battle with cancer was the stress of this incident. Yeah? So I would never sit here and say, I'm the reason of why it happened, or that was the reason of why it happened. Yeah? But for years after my mum died, it wouldn't be all the time, but I'd go through stages where I wouldn't sleep properly. I'd be fighting, I'd be tussling, but I never knew what it was. Couldn't identify what it was subconsciously that was there, that was making me fight and not be able to sleep properly. I watched the documentary, the first edit, and it hit me, slapped me in the face, where subconsciously I was blaming myself. But because it wasn't at the forefront of my mind, I couldn't deal with it. Do you understand me?
That's mad, bro.
It was nuts. So, listen, I'm cool. And that part of my life is parked up and it's done. Now, it's about being a voice for people who need it, who ain't gonna go through so they don't go through what I went through. It could be a Premier League player, it could be a grassroots player. But I can talk for you. If you don't feel strong enough to speak, because I understand, you might not feel strong enough to speak. Everyone's different. But I'll come and stand with you, I'll speak for you. No problem.
Cold. That is cold, my brother. I don't even know. I'm blown away by that. Have you ever considered? Because he's 36 now. He's still quite young. Maybe get into a coaching heavily in your 40s, just because of the life experience you have. Do you reckon that would clearly make you a better coach as well?
I'm mentor now, so I'm mentor for Neuro Global Sports Management to our players, because the likelihood of it is, so what we've discussed now, what we've chopped up today, most players are going to go through that argument with a manager. You know, moving at the drop of a hat,
leaving your friends when you're
leaving everything that I've gone through in my career, and there's more. We're scratching the surface. There's more. The likelihood of it, I've probably been through it. So I'm talking to you. I'm mentoring from a place of experience, a place of knowing, a place of personal experience. You can't beat that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being like, listen, we couldn't go to a private school and reason with someone in there, because the first thing they're going to go to us and go, you don't understand because you've never been a place like this before.
Yeah, exactly.
And make them right.
Yeah, they're right still.
Do you know what I mean? Just like a private school kid couldn't come into the ends and try and reason with a kid in the ends. Just don't happen. Can't do it. But if that private school kid was all of a sudden was in the ends and their family become successful and went to private school, he could come back and reason because he's grown up in it. He understands certain aspects. So people are more likely to listen to it. That's where I'm at. I've said it before. The second phase of my life is about helping people. I've Anton Ferdinand, the footballer, finished. Did I achieve what I wanted to achieve? No, I didn't. Whose fault is that? It's my own. I didn't reach my potential. People might understand the reasons why now. And the big thing was coming out of Rio Shadow was massive for me. I relaxed after that. But that's my fault. Nobody else's. It's my fault. That's the reason why I didn't become the player that I should have became. Yeah? Timing. The era that I grew up in. John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, Sol Campbell, Jonathan Woodgate, Jamie Carragher, Ledley King. 6 of the best. It's hard to break into that to get into
Champions League
squad.
Winners there,
it's hard to get into that.
Come on.
If I was coming through today, I'd be rubbing my hands. I'd be rubbing my hands if I was coming through today.
You're not rating them. You don't rate the centre backs.
No, there's some good centre backs.
But
I'd
that
be
is
rubbing my hands.
That's an elite group still.
100. If I was coming through, like the only one really that I think the one that I think, I'd say 2 really that I think that for the one English, the other one Jamaican. I was going to say Mason Holgate, but the one that's English who I think coming through don't have a liking to me, but he's got attributes that can take him there. But he's coming at the right time because, like I said, what's ahead of him ain't elite. Like, what I had to deal with is Ben Godfrey.
I knew you were going to say Ben Godfrey. Rio talks about him all the time. I knew it.
Listen, but we can talk about him as much as we want.
Yeah.
But he's doing it. It's not like we're talking about him and he's not doing it.
Nah,
he's doing it.
Under Carlo Ancelotti as well. Come on.
But he's doing it. And he's showing versatility.
Left back.
He's playing all over the place. But this is what I'm saying. Yeah? My next phase of my life is for them words there.
I respect it.
You know what I mean? That's what my mum, me and my brother sat down after my mum died and we spoke about, like, our mum had a knack of just having time for people. She always made time for people. She had a knack. It was like a skill. Because you know everyone says, oh, there's not enough hours in a day. She always had time. She always made time for people. Yeah? That's her legacy, man. And that's one thing that's going to live through me for her is my timeline's about helping people.
Well, thank you. You came here, my brother. I appreciate it. Believe me, fam. So, Anton, I've got to go pick up my kids. But my brother,
cool, man.
Seriously, I respect this so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for coming down. And it must be a difficult conversation to have so much, but I'm so glad that you've done a documentary, you put it to bed, you can move forward, and now the mentoring is the new chapter. And it would be really, really nice to see the likes of, you know, Ben Godfrey and the Mason Holgates and how they're going to grow. Having people like yourself mentoring them, I think that's what we need, man. We need more mentors for the younger footballers, just so they are aware of the problems that are going to happen and they have someone to talk to
100%.
when it do happen. All right, everyone, please like, share, and subscribe so I can make money like Steve and move out, because I can't do the one bed with 5 people anymore. It's long.